Hey, 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 everybody. Welcome to Tea with Tanisha. Oh,
And Aiko.
welcome, guys. Guess what? Guess who's here? Danielle is in the building.
Hey.
She cracks me up. It's always I'm here. She's here. So guess what, guys? Today is a pretty fun topic. Danielle and Mr. Ike Poo over here came up with today's topic. And so, Ike, what are we going to talk about?
We're going to be talking about kids being left out in a blended family.
In a blended family, and also when the parents split and other children are born with from other relationships, right? You got to figure out who gets to go where and who gets to go. Hey, Blended with Love, how are ya? So I'm going to give this quick little excerpt first, and then we're going to jump right into our conversation. So I'm Tanisha O, the founder of Blending Our Love Incorporated and the author of this amazing book, Empowered Stepmother. If you don't have it, grab a copy of it. I've gone through and done my work. It's been an amazing journey of a lot of ups and downs. And so I found it in my heart that this was just a niche in a group of people that are just forgotten almost. We feel completely forgotten. So I decided to create this Empowered Stepmother movement to empower all the stepmothers all around the world. I offer coaching services to stepmothers with the biological mother or with the spouse or with their stepchildren, and we've had some really great success. So come on in and join us. This here is my youngest son. Some people like to say he's my stepson, but he's my baby boy. So he's going to join us today. Are you nervous today?
No.
All right, get some personality on your face, because that right there is not fun. He's going to join us today. Danielle's going to join in the conversation, and we're going to jump right into this thing. So what are we talking about, guys? Who's going to take it away first? You, Danielle? You said no. She's like, absolutely not. All right, take us away. Why are we having this conversation today?
We're having this conversation because just a couple of minutes ago, we were talking about me being left out.
Okay.
And I'm not going to say the name, but my youngest sister and her family, they will go on trips and I would be left out. And when I would be left out, I would feel sad because I would feel like, why am I being left out? Did I do anything?
Right.
Is there something going on?
And were you at some point involved or included?
Into their activities?
Yes.
Yes, I was.
Okay.
Before.
Okay.
And I think I had this conversation with you before.
Okay.
And you were saying that not everyone gets to go with everybody.
Correct. Because does your younger sister get to go with us? Younger sister he's referring to, this is Danielle's youngest baby girl. Okay. So he's referring to any trips that she may go to with her father. He used to get to go, and now he no longer gets to go. So he was kind of feeling left out. And I think that this is a great topic because frequently when children don't have the same biological parents, mothers and fathers, or fathers and mothers, however it works out, somebody may feel left out. Maybe it's the child who is left at home with the parent while the other child goes out with the father, so to speak. So in his case, he's speaking of his mother. And even though he visits his mom because he resides with us, he still feels sad that he's not able to go when your younger sister goes, right?
Right.
But what's interesting is, did you think about how she feels when she doesn't get to go with you when you go places with your dad?
No.
So talk me through that. And jump in, Danielle, at any given time.
Well, at that moment, I wasn't thinking I was just thinking about me being left out.
Okay.
I wasn't thinking about Tajay being left out as well.
Okay. And so you two had a conversation, you were telling me, Danielle, about what was explained of why, the reason why you couldn't go. So talk me through that. What'd you come up with?
So the reason why I couldn't go is because it will be on the weekend that I'm not with mommy. Or if it's the weekend that I am with mommy, the tickets will already be purchased.
Okay.
Ahead of time.
So if it's a weekend, Danielle, I'll ask you, if it's a weekend that he's not there, why would he be privy to a conversation of anything that they were doing anyway? Why would that even?
She might have said something to him that I'm going here.
Okay.
And then another thing that, his dad, it was never included with her in the beginning. It's different because at one point he was able to go with her.
Got it. Okay.
But for her to go with him, no, because she's never been around him like that.
For her to go where?
To go with his father.
Oh, but he's never invited her.
Right. Yeah. So
yes,
there's a difference. So,
yes.
She wouldn't feel left out. She was never included in the beginning anyway.
Right.
He was included in the beginning.
Right.
So there is a difference. She wouldn't feel left out.
Right.
She don't.
So what happened that caused him to no longer, beyond him feeling this way? Because I don't know. Because I know he mentioned, okay, there's times where she goes and I just stay at home with mommy. You know, if there is a weekend, what shifted that caused him to no longer be included?
Like he said previously, you know, they might have bought the tickets, or it just wasn't the right time, and the tickets are already bought, and they couldn't go back and get an extra one. It'd be like a separate thing for him to do because he's not included with them now.
Got it. Okay. So how does that make you feel, even still with that information?
Like today, or
just, yeah, sure. I mean, I don't know how often it happens, so I don't know. But it's your time to share your thoughts.
You know, I feel okay because I understand what's happening and why I can't always go.
Okay.
And
yeah,
that's it.
You know, one of the things that I was talking to him about, and these are some of the things that happen in blended families. One, I had to give him the harsh reality. And what was that harsh reality that I shared with you?
You said that first that no, I can't go everywhere that Tajay goes.
Right. And what else?
And you said that Daddy doesn't always, and Daddy is not the first person to invite Tajay everywhere that.
No, Daddy won't invite her. I'm far more likely to do that, but that's not what I'm looking for. What I'm looking for is the harsh reality is that's not your family. That's your sister's family, right? And it doesn't mean that you don't like each other and you haven't been around them. But the reality is we do things with our family, right? And so you have a dad and your dad takes you to do things with his family, and she has a dad and her dad is going to take her to do things with her family. And if you know, Danielle, if you two were married, then that's different because you are joining them on a trip. So we're not talking about times where Danielle is going with them. We're talking about times where your sister is going with her family somewhere, right? And you're not even going, Danielle.
Sometimes I don't go. Sometimes I do go.
Okay. So there's a difference and I think that considering the amount of time that you guys spend together, it's good for you to be able to just spend one-on-one time with your mom, especially because you've told me that that's something that you want, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So and I think as parents, you know, as we have this conversation, it's a good conversation. What are we talking about? We're talking about kids not feeling that they're feeling left out because they have different fathers or different mothers and they don't get to go everywhere. And that's what happens when parents split or things don't work out. But I think that it's an important conversation that we have with our children in advance. You know, if Shvi and Dame were to go somewhere with their dad, you wouldn't go. Right? You wouldn't go because I know his dad very well, but your dad doesn't have a relationship with them. Right? And so that's the sticky part also that we were talking about, Danielle, and I would love to hear your take on it, because I know for us, if you were to come to say your youngest daughter's father wants to take Ike on a vacation with his family and you are not present, that's a no-go. For Ihani, that's and Ike, you know, I mean, and I'll let you share why. But what are your thoughts on that? Now it's different if you're there. You know, it's like no,
I would never bring it up if I'm not going to be there. So.
But you just mentioned that they've invited him on vacations,
and I would probably end up going.
Okay, yeah, so that's a different thing. But if it's somewhere where you're not present, I don't know how that is. So, in your opinion, do you feel like you still want to go even if mommy's not there? There's no right or wrong answer. You know, there's no right or wrong answer, right?
Yes.
So another thing that we were just kind of talking about, thank you, cousin. I do let him talk. I don't need to coach him through this conversation because we literally just had this topic today. Like, it's a fresh conversation. So another thing that that we were talking about is in these relationships, when couples have children and then they split, right? They break up. A mom and a dad break up. And then the mom or the dad has another child with someone else and they break up. You understand? So now there's two kids and the mother or father has broken up with two people. Now there are two children. So if there's a child where, let's just say you are in a situation and your mom breaks up with your younger sister's father, the likelihood of you still being involved with that family is slim, because at this point, the only main focus is your baby sister, right? Because that's the relationship that he is nurturing. Now, if there's a situation where you've grown up and there is like this huge, deep bond. I'm not talking about video games every so often, but I'm talking about a deep bond, because I do have friends. I have friends who the father actually took over custody as far as raising, not even custody, but he literally is raising his ex-girlfriend's children that he didn't give birth to. So like she had a child, right? They had children together. Because the mom was just not in the best space at the time, he took his two children that he gave birth to and the child he didn't give birth to raise. Like, that's a bond. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's like a level of love. That's a whole show by itself. You know what I mean? And so that's the thing. Those are the things that children don't understand. And as parents, you know, you don't give them everything. And I think that parents is super important for us to not give them everything. But it's important for kids to understand why things change. So when Ike was no longer invited, of course he's going to be sad, and he doesn't even know what questions to ask. You know what I mean? Like, he just feels like and sometimes it is because it's the different weekend that you're not there. But I think it's great for us as parents to talk to kids and explain things in realistic terms. We aren't. However, so how would you, let me ask that. How would you, Danielle, explain to him why he's not, if the answer is beyond, it's just not the same weekend? Because the reality is, if they really wanted him to go, the ticket would have been purchased because it's a weekend, he was already there, and it could have been planned for, right? So what's another way you think?
They always ask, can he go? I may just say no. Okay. So they always ask it. They never stop asking. So that's, you know. But sometimes I might just say no. And they say, okay. And then that's it.
So when that happens, do you tell Ike, I just said, no, you can't go?
I say, you can't go because we want to do something.
Okay.
And then that's the end.
Yeah. And that's good with you, right? I'm sure, because you get to have her one-on-one. So I think that it's cool to have these open conversations, because there are a lot of things that kids are thinking. And when there are not just blended families, but there are children had by different people. Like for me, the reason why I love this topic for you, Danielle, is because Shvi and Dame have the same dad. So I didn't have that. You know what I mean? Like, I never had to go visit this dad or that dad. When we talked about dad, it was just like, go see your dad. You get to take both of them. So come on with it, mama, with your question on Instagram. Go ahead and get to typing. We have a question coming through on Instagram. So I'm going to keep talking. And you guys, if you have questions, please throw them into this comment so we can get this talking while Danielle is here and Ike is here, because this is a really important thing. And it's something that I know to experience from the back seat, so to speak. You know what I mean? I don't know. I know when I hear Ike come home and he's like, oh, mom, I didn't get to go somewhere, I'll just be like, you know, it's okay. You know, it's not the end of the world. You don't have to scoop this way closer to me, my love. Thank you. But what else do you have to say? What are your other thoughts on this topic, love?
I would just say make sure that, you know, the kids know that you're not going to be able to go to everything.
So do you think it would be helpful if a conversation was had in advance, or as it comes? Like, once it happens, that's when you have to talk? Or do you think it's helpful to have it in advance?
I would say advance, because then the kids know the reason why they won't be able to go.
That's a good point. Like, for example, Shri, Dame, and Ike, they already know. When it comes to sleepovers, I've already told you what.
I'm not going to be going to most of them.
You hear that? He's not going to be going to most of them. If I don't know your parents, have a clear understanding of what your rules are and boundaries are based upon what I have seen you demonstrate as a parent, it's very likely he's not going to be there. Most likely they're not. And so that has been something that has been set since Shvi and Dame were young. It goes on. It also is the same thing. And so when the birthday party invitations come, the slumber parties, whether it's a yes or no, they're not shocked, right? Because we've already braced them for the reality that they probably won't be going to it anyway. So that's one of the things. Let me read this question from IG. So how/what do you say to the child that is born after the original bio kids from the previous marriage that they can't go with the bonus brothers or sisters? I know Danielle's face is it's the same as mine. I'm going to repeat it because did you understand it?
No.
All right, here we go. Ready? We're going to do this again. Look, Ike is reading it too. How or what do you say to the child that is born after the original bio kids? So there's a child born after okay, so basically the husband and wife, please correct me if I get this right or wrong, Michelle. The husband and wife have a child together, I'm assuming, after the bio kids from a previous marriage. Oh, okay, so somebody has an extra child that they can't go with the bonus brothers or sisters. Are you still in the same place? Good. I feel good. Let's high five because at least we just all confused together. Michelle, I'm going to need you to help a sister out and a young man, two sisters and a young man, because we don't understand that question. Anybody on Facebook, if you understand that question better than us, please maybe interpret it for us because we're a little lost and I totally want to answer this question. What do you say to a child that is born after the original bio kids? Maybe there's part of the question that isn't needed in the question that's throwing us off. What do you say to a child that's born after the bio kids from a previous marriage that can't go with the bonus brothers or sisters? I don't know because I don't know that I understand the question properly. And I really want to because I want to be able to give whatever my thoughts are or get all of our insight. But I know in any case, when a child is not welcome to go to anything at any given point, I would always say honesty is the first true response. You know, I feel that it should be, do you agree? Mm-hmm. I feel that it should be age appropriate for sure. And sometimes sugarcoating it isn't always the best thing. You know what I mean? Like Ike is at an age now where I can say, my love, the reality is mommy didn't marry him. And so that's not family. You know what I mean? And he understands family. He understands the bonds. It doesn't mean that they don't love him. Doesn't mean that they haven't been around him for some years. Doesn't mean any of that. But it means that family has different relationship bonds than others, right?
Right.
It's that simple. And I can also understand that his father has no relationship. He does not know his younger sister's father at all. I think they've seen each other once. He has no relationship, no rapport. The likelihood of him being comfortable with that is slim to none. However, Danielle and I have a different relationship. You know, I'm actually around her younger daughter more. The likelihood of me saying, hey, you want to go to Six Flags? Can I take her somewhere? She probably would agree faster because at least you know what kind of mother I am. You know what I mean? And I would be inviting Danielle anyway, like, hey girl, let's go, let's go do whatever. But at least there's a level of a rapport that's there. And I think that that's super important for not only the child to be comfortable, but for the parents to be comfortable as well. That makes sense?
Yes.
Yeah. And it's not, you want to add something to that? What are your thoughts?
I mean, I would still have to run it by her dad. And if he says no, then.
Of course. Of course. But the difference is at least you can say, I have a relationship with this woman. I know who this woman is. In your case, you and Ihani don't even have a proper relationship. You know what I mean? Y'all are trying to get that figured out. So we're going to layer on top of that, him going somewhere with someone else. Ihani's going to be like, sweetie, I'm still trying to get past step one, right? Ike, like me and Ike are still trying to get the proper harmony and understanding. There's a mutual respect, no doubt. We're trying to get the proper harmony for all three of the co-parents, let alone add somebody else to the mix, right?
Right.
Yeah. So, and we'll get there. So let's see. We got this question again. Okay. I have a child with my husband. Great. And we get the boys on the weekends, and she wants to go to a party that the bonus boys are invited to, invited to, but it's their cousin's party. I'm not sure how to say she's not welcome. Oh, I think that's exactly what we've been talking about, right? Right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah. It's that harsh reality. But I think that when we explain things to children, for people on Facebook, I'll read the question one more time. The person on Instagram has a child with her husband, and their sons, her stepsons. She doesn't use step, but her stepsons come over every other weekend, and they're the biological child between her and her now husband. There's a birthday party, right? The child that they have together wants to go to the birthday party with her stepsons, but though that family member is on their biological mother's side, so her husband's ex's side of the family, and her child that she has with her husband is not welcome to go. So she's trying to figure out how to explain this to her child without hurting her baby girl's feelings. And there's really no easy way to have that conversation, right?
No.
But I think using words like family, and that because that's true. Like, this is family, and this is dad, that kind of helps. So that's what we got for today. It's a very touchy topic, and it's something I'm glad you guys came up with this conversation, but it's a real conversation because people's feelings get hurt.
Yes.
They just do. They get their feelings hurt. For Ike, he hasn't encountered any of that because Shri and Dame are older. It's very rare that they go, if they go to California, most times we all go anyway,
Mm-hmm.
so it's not, he's never experienced feeling left out, so to speak, when it comes to family, as far as I'm concerned. But with his biological mom, they've gone, through these things. But even though it sounds like you guys had a conversation about it, he
Mm-hmm.
still had questions about it because it's still on his mind. So I think sometimes just reiterating these things to our kids and reminding them, it's nothing that you did, unless it's something that you really did. Maybe you just kind of tore up their couch the last time you were over there. They might not have you back again. And I understand that. I might not invite your child either if they broke my glass table. But that's not what we're talking about, IQ, because you don't do that, do you?
No.
So listen, guys, this is a topic. I don't see any other questions in our queue, but this was a great conversation. Danielle, you want to add anything? I know you've just been real social today. You're just full of conversation. I don't know, these two.
I like her, the lady with the comment. I mean, the question about the birthday parties.
Yeah.
If she has cousins that give birthday parties, and if he's there, they invite him too.
Right.
So it's not like he can't go. They still just invite him now. If I didn't want him to go, it'd be something different.
Right.
But when it comes down, even though he's not part of their family, they never exclude him out unless I say something.
Right. But I think for her difference is she's the new wife.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not a situation where it's like our family dynamic. She's the new wife, and her husband had a baby.
Okay.
And so the ex-wife is not interested in her or the child that she had with the child. Like, the two of them haven't even welcomed one another, thoughtless of incorporating a child. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And what she's saying is that it was said that she couldn't go. Like, they made it very clear.
Oh.
Don't even think about bringing your other child over here.
Oh.
Which, your face. You know what? The one thing that I love, and I know that people deal with this, the one thing that I would say that Danielle and we never dealt with is, no matter what was happening with the parents, we never included the kids in that because it wasn't necessary. You know what I mean? When baby girl comes over here, her younger daughter, you want to color? I think my house is known as the popcorn house, to the point that you start bringing your own popcorn, because she knows, if nothing else, Miss Tanisha has some popcorn over there and she's going to give me some popcorn. And so why include kids? Like, children are innocent. They don't need to be involved with all the extra rigmarole and nonsense that happens, and the more parents that we can do to protect them from things that they just need to do. We don't need to add to any level of insecurity they may get or any issues that they may feel down the line because of our lack of maturity. Really, it's what it comes down to. We can't get it together. And so now we are blaming these babies and they're hurting and all that. Oh, we got our thing in the thing. Come over here. So anyway, let's get it together, family. Let's get it together, parents. Have those conversations that need to be had. You probably want to lean in, get your half face. Have those conversations that need to be had and be open, be honest. I think a lot of times people aren't even honest with themselves. So how can you be honest with a child? You know doggone well the reason why a child can't go somewhere or isn't welcome. And then we keep making excuses. And then when the truth comes out, we look like the bad guys because we could have found a way to be sensitive and honest about it. So as always, Danielle, I'm really glad that we haven't really had this thing. I'm glad, Ike, that you shared your feelings on this so that we were able to get to the bottom of it. And yes, Michelle, you're right. Everybody is not that adult, but that's because our own emotions are coming in and our own feelings of rejection or pain, and whatever we can do to put that pain on someone else is typically what people do. You know, they're just spreading that hurt and pain. So because hurting people do what? Hurt people. That's right. Hurting people hurt people. So from our family to yours, we love you. Thank you for joining us today on this great topic. It was a hot topic. Danielle, thanks for stopping by.
You're welcome.
With Tea with Tanisha O. We are going to head out today. Once again, if you don't have this amazing book, do you know who wrote the foreword? Danielle did. It's a pretty juicy foreword. It's a pretty juicy foreword. So grab this book. If there's any coaching services that I can support you with in your blended family as a stepmother, coaching with the biological mother and yourself, or your stepchild, or your husband, because getting on the same page with them is important. I am here for you. I'm here to support you. You can find us at Blending Our Love on all social media. And from our family to yours, we love you. Take care. Be well. Ciao.
Ciao.
Thank you, my love.